You're listening to the audio portion of Workshop Wednesdays. Workshop Wednesdays is a free live discussion about topics affecting accountants, bookkeepers, and business owners. You can join the ABO group in Facebook to participate live Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Just search for ABBO in Facebook. This podcast is brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where you will learn, grow, and build a thriving bookkeeping practice. We have hundreds of lessons with almost every aspect of the industry. Start your free month today at Schoolofbookkeeping.com. Welcome to another Workshop Wednesday brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com. We're in matching uniforms today. And even Landon, lurking in the background, is in his School of Bookkeeping shirt. Appreciate it. Landon, for all he does, helping us share and reload, all that technical stuff in the background. So we appreciate him and everything that he does. So, Carrie, what were you saying? I was just talking all over you.
Well, I said today's the day to wear a School of Bookkeeping uniform.
That's right.
And our audience, if you have a School of Bookkeeping shirt, you should wear one as well.
That's right.
Remember, T-shirts have Tuesday, they'd wear their T-shirts. We'll have to make it School of Bookkeeping Wednesday.
Saturday. Well, could be on an S day. Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, but
Wednesday, Workshop Wednesday.
Where?
T-shirt for School of Bookkeeping. It flows. It's smooth, Dan. It just rolls. Every day is the day to wear the T-shirt, the coveted soft like T-shirt.
That's right. Because if you have a bad T-shirt, nothing worse than that.
I learned that at Scaling New Heights many years ago. It was at Disney, and we walked up to one of the booths. I won't say who, and they handed us a T-shirt.
Come on.
And my conference friend and I went, ew, and handed it back. And it was when.
Oh, really? Right in front of them. It's not like you took it and then dumped it in the trash.
No. And that was the year of the Gobstoppers. And I think, I can't remember.
Wait. What is the Gobstoppers? What?
Oh, goodness.
The year of the Gobstoppers? Someone gave out candy?
Nope. It was just, it looked like Gobstopper candy, but it was just like a bouncy toy. It was probably like
one of those stress ball things.
Yeah, and I think it was from Avalera or somebody like that. It was one of the vendors that comes to all of the events and has been for years. And I just remember it was a big deal to get this thing.
No.
So I have to see if I still have it. I have a box of goodies, and if I can find it, I'll have to show my swag when we work our way up to Scaling New Heights.
Yeah, or as trick-or-treating as we like to call it, when you go around to the vendor booths and steal or their swag.
Giving you swag.
I remember the first time I was manning the booth at Scaling New Heights, and there was always these rogue hands just like preaching and like, wait a minute, you need to talk to us for something,
No. That's the sneaky part. I have a giraffe that we got from Giraffe, and that we got at Abbey Camp. They ran out of them at Scaling, so I got one for baby Jack somewhere here. Good swag.
Well, today
Susan has the gold T-shirt. I don't have it.
Gold
I
T-shirt?
have a red one though. Susan, do you have a red one?
Where the base color is red?
We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to have a show and tell.
Swag. A swag workshop.
Yep.
She does have the red, the red one.
Well, when I moved, I did purge some, and I'm sure, Dan, your wife will let you allocate some money.
That's right. I have a work t-shirt drawer, and now a play t-shirt drawer.
Did she allocate you a second drawer, or did you pare them down?
Yeah, we had to. When we did some purging, we readjusted because for those of you who don't know, I live in an RV, so we were limited on the space. So our winter time, we readjusted our closet, and I took all the t-shirts out, put them in drawers, because I have 2 drawers to work with, and I have a work and a play drawer, and that's just for t-shirt. So that's my limit now, is if it doesn't fit in the drawer, I gotta get rid of one.
There we go. I know because we tried to get you a T-shirt last year. I don't have any room.
It's like, before we had like a little hanging thing where you could hang it, so I was limited to the number that would actually fit on the little hanging t-shirt thing. But I digress, because we're not talking about anything QuickBooks related here.
No, I'm just getting excited for swag season. It's just me.
Okay. All right. Well, today is Chicken Little Day, which is the day that we're going to be talking about the sky is falling, because the emails are after the tax season. You're going to start getting emails about service discontinuation when it comes to desktop. And this every year this happens, and every year there is a new element to talk about when it comes to, is desktop going away? So this is your favorite topic, right? One of your many favorite topics.
It used to be my more favorite topic, and anyway.
You're having less and less allegiance to this favorite topic.
Well, it's yeah. Okay.
But it now, let me just share the
Yeah.
screen, and we'll talk about it. So big red exclamation point on the
Those
emails
always
as they
freak
come.
me out.
Critical notice. Wow. I mean, these are some tough words that are coming through in the emails here. But this comes to accounting professionals who have clients, right? So this may not be the customer facing version, but I can't say it.
Verbiage.
Verbiage and version. They're coming out combinated. But you may have clients on desktop 2020 software which will be discontinued after May 31st. So just reading that headline, this comes in, this feeds into the conversation. Is QuickBooks Desktop being discontinued? Yes and no, right? That's always the answer. The service discontinuation of a particular version of QuickBooks. You used to call it sunset, right?
Sunset season.
Yeah, sunset season.
And
Um, Go ahead.
before subscription, it used to be that we would recommend Pro and Premier clients to upgrade every 2 to 3 years, depending on where they were, if they didn't really care about the major updates. But as hacking and security and all that stuff has tightened up and they moved to subscription, that recommendation pretty much switched. Now, I think this is the last year, is 2021, where people may have their hands on a purchase
Yeah,
out, not subscription.
I'm trying to remember, and it's a little bit challenging to recall that far back, because I don't even remember what happened yesterday. But I think 2021 was the year that you, as a QSP, as a QuickBooks solution provider, you were able to sell the single use license version of 2021. However, if you purchased through Intuit or purchased on their website, you would be on the Pro Plus or the Premier Plus subscription model. So this is like the cusp year where 2021 being the latest version that QuickBooks will support and continue to make updates for, and working with that was 2020. Yeah, as Susan says, 2021 went both ways. Did I click on it to show it? There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, it was being hidden there. But yes, 2021 was the last version where you could either purchase a single use license, which would then
you know, be in that service discontinuation message, uh, or get the plus subscription model for that year's version. So next year will be an interesting conversation as to what this what this kind of email looks like. But the what's actually happening here is that the entire desktop version is not being discontinued. It is the online services, right? So, uh, uh, well, they're not even talking about the service discontinuation here. They're
There's
the
upselling to QuickBooks Online.
right. So and that's part of the challenge, and that's part of the conversation that accounting professionals are having, is because there's no mention of just upgrading your version of
It's saying
QuickBooks
it's
Desktop.
discontinued and here's QBO. So that's why we always say the sky is not
Right.
falling. So wonder why our customers are confused. Oh, darn.
Right. Because the encouragement here is to encourage a fresh look at QuickBooks Online
So
for
if you
clients.
are a customer that still needs desktop because you really like the job costing or the inventory features and you're not in the mood to move, you do not have to, but
Right.
you need to move to subscription and
Right.
not and ignore these notices and just stay on the latest version or look at enterprise. If your file's getting big, you don't have to move to QBO if your features are not yet available.
Right. So just to keep all this in mind and in perspective, that as the suggestion, and I think ultimately Intuit and QuickBooks are, they're creating their own destiny, right? By encouraging these things, right?
But if the
You
features this is
you
where
look at
I
you look
chop
at what
it.
well, you look at what happened last year, right? I mean, you can't find QuickBooks Pro even on their website anymore, right? So uh, you can still sell it as a QuickBooks solution provider, but you can't buy it from directly from Intuit. So the lowest version of QuickBooks desktop that you can purchase directly from Intuit is Premier, uh, which is you're looking at an annual subscription cost of $799 for QuickBooks Premier, where okay, that when you compare that to QuickBooks Online Plus, uh, that now becomes a cost equivalent of okay, well, I'm going to be spending, what is it, $800 or something like that per year, or the 85, that's right, $85 times 12. Can somebody do the math for me?
Hold on, I gotta
If
get
there's
my calc
only if there was only somebody that had that could do some math
1,020.
on this call,
QBO is still more money than that
right?
$799.
All right, so $799 for Premier, which is something that's that's one user, right? If you've got two users, then you're adding on, $300
Right.
or something like that per user. So if you've got a 5 user license or subscription of Premier, you're definitely more than a 5 user plus. Again, do you have a functionality need for desktop? You could certainly, that's coming into the equation. Now, Kathy asked, uh, how much are the subscriptions? I assume you're talking
Drop
about the
our
desktop subscription, right? We have a blog on School of Bookkeeping where we talk about the 2023 desktop pricing. Pro Plus is $549, and that's for a 1 user license. Uh, Premier starts at $799, and that's for a 1 user license. And then, Enterprise is all over the place, right? But we have that kind of detailed out on the blog there. Uh, Especially if you're using integrated services like payroll, it's worth looking at Enterprise with Gold Edition because of the integrated payroll and the lack of employee costs, which have arisen as well, because this is all part of, I think, Intuit's strategy. Uh, is the Intuit strategy is let's price desktop out of the equation, right?
And it's still
Right.
cheaper.
Right.
But if you have to have those features, and I totally get it because I have a lot of clients that can't make the move. QBO is to them just a checkbook. So they need to stay in desktop until they can find another solution. It might not be QuickBooks because if QuickBooks isn't going to put the feature they need in, that's just on QuickBooks. But if you like Dan's saying, if you use enhanced payroll, price your employee fees plus the subscription plus the new desktop subscription all together and compared to your gold one user, there's no fees. You don't have to pay for the enhanced subscription. You don't pay the $5 per EE per month, no direct deposit fees, and that's your do-it-yourself payroll. So very important to
So,
compare.
I did put in the blog article about that. Kathy, if you want to take a look at that, we talked about it on a workshop as well. So the video is already embedded in the blog. So we've just kind of repeated some of the things that we've already talked about. So you can skip past that. But one of the things that they're mentioning in here that is worth noting, right, is that if you do decide, okay, all right, I'll go with the suggestion and go to QuickBooks Online, but you often have these, well, what transitions to QuickBooks
What am I going to
Online
lose?
from what am I going to lose in that? Right. So bank rules used to be something that didn't come over. Now they do. So you're rest assured, or at least alleviated that worry that the bank rule didn't come over before. So now at least they try to. Uh, and
If
then,
you have payroll, you've got to
one of the questions that Carrie has had actually about, moving from desktop to online is her custom reports. She has thousands of customized reports because in the past they didn't, right? But basically have to recreate all of those reports all over again, which is that's a time consumption of, moving from desktop to online. So
one I
it,
rely on.
it does claim, right? Desktop custom reports are automatically created in QuickBooks Online. So
How
devil's in the
could
detail.
that how could that bring my report over if we can't recreate it in QBO?
We shall see, right?
Okay.
We'll have to test it out. And then,
Payroll.
there's always been that, well, QuickBooks Online doesn't do job costing, right? So QuickBooks Desktop job costing now migrates to QuickBooks Online projects. But how, right? I mean, everything is always in the details, right? So at least it makes that attempt to do so. And then, of course, there's an online app that is to help with to alleviate the fears of, people like a little desktop application, right? And the online app, which is basically a built-in browser that's on your desktop
Desktop.
computer. It offers a desktop view option to be able to do that, right? So, that this will allow, these are some of these things to help alleviate some people's concerns of being able to do that. And then obviously there's a discount for that first year. So, to help alleviate the cost thing. But bottom line is, despite what the emails might say,
It's
desktop is
not
still
not
working.
going away. They're just gonna get quiet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. They just kind of put it back in the corner, like baby. And then, if we forget about it, then nobody will think it's there, but it's still there. Right.
it's still there. They're still dumping resources into enterprise, just not advertising. And I think last year they had a ton of features get unleashed, but you didn't hear about it. So
Right.
anyway,
Yeah. I mean, those features were nice, for 2023. They were very niche features, right? Like expiration dates on on serial numbers and lot numbers, you know, there's a very small subsegment of people that's a gotta have feature, right? I mean, if you're not tracking inventory, you're not tracking, lot
Yeah.
numbers or serial numbers or expiration date. So, that feature, it's in and of itself is not a hit
And then
list for
your company stuff was added too,
yeah,
those are things we've been asking for years,
right.
so
Yeah, there was a lot of features in 2023 that were like, what took you so long features. I'm like, this was like a core ask, right? Uh, So, those they are still developing it. It's just that those features are kind of not uh, value added, for your landscapers or, the service based industries that you may have as clients. So,
and QBO still does not have sales orders, so those customers that have to have them need to stay in desktop because it's still
right.
there.
Yeah. So Kathy asked the question, well, so desktop client can still use their desktop version, would just not get support unless they pay for a subscription. Is that correct? So yes. So ultimately, what this boils down to is a service discontinuation. The the program will still open. Uh, on May 31st of this year is the service discontinuation date. Anything that has to do with an online connected service. So your online banking, which includes Web Connect, right? So if you download your file from the bank, which downloads as a Web Connect file, even though it's a file and you're importing it, it still has to go online to verify that that is a valid financial institution. So that particular process is an online service. If you tried that on June 1st, it would say it wouldn't work, right? Uh,
Payments,
so
payroll,
yeah, payments, payroll,
emailing.
basic emailing out now with a caveat, right? If you're using Outlook as your email provider or a web-based email service like Mail or Yahoo, AOL, if you set those things up outside of it, QuickBooks email, but like if you're having QuickBooks send it, uh, then no, that would not work. But if you're using Outlook,
Okay.
on installed on your computer, it would still
To
connect it because it's desktop to desktop, right? It's an online function, but it's actually sending it through the email program that you're using. So your Outlook is actually doing the sending of the email, which Outlook is supported, right? I mean, Outlook still works regardless of whether you're using QuickBooks or not.
So I would imagine that, like with desktop different from QBO, we have those patches and updates. I would imagine those would stop, or do they keep doing that too?
I'm sorry, I was looking at Susan's question. Are you sure about that? It sounds like, whoops, I did too many things. But yes, you will not get any security updates, or they're no longer going to be creating a update for that version. Um, but that also, Susan also throws out the good thing that you can save things as a PDF and then email, uh, those types of
Okay.
things as well. But uh, yeah, I'll follow up with that because just to make sure that doing an Outlook email on a non-supported version does work. We might need to put
And I
that to
would
the test just to make sure.
and I would also recommend not being afraid of enterprise because that's not going away. Pro and Premier, they're trying to kill it in the back of the backyard. Um, and it's exactly what you're used to if you're used to Pro and Premier. Don't be afraid of the word enterprise. It's really just the same thing with a couple more features. It can take 10 times its file size. It's got a lot for going for it, and it's not going anywhere. So some of them, silver is exactly what you're used to. Gold is adds enhanced payroll for no additional fee. Uh, Platinum adds some additional advanced inventory features that Dan was alluding to, multiple locations and that kind of thing. And then Diamond uh, pulls your assisted payroll in with it, and then it has some other things that can connect to it. So I highly recommend, giving enterprise a shot. Uh, if you really like desktop, why chug along in a small, the Pro and Premier were not designed for growth. They were designed for you to start out, and then enterprise is a small business software.
Yeah. And, you know, if this is, the start of the desktop apocalypse, uh, enterprise will be the last to go. Right. So, might as well, climb to the top of that mountain or at least look at that. And, to your point, it's not, uh, it's not going to, it's not anything to be not a be, not, yeah, I can't
Not to
say.
be afraid of. That's not going
Thank
anywhere
you. That's right.
because they know, and that's just the thing. Like QuickBooks Mac tried to kill it off, God, like 6 years ago, 8 years ago, and everybody revolted and they brought it back. Um,
Yeah.
we I think we can I don't even know where that is at this moment, but
Yeah.
enterprise is not going anywhere. So if you love it, just stay in it, you're fine. Um, we have a really good Dan, if you can find the link for the chooser.
Yeah.
If you're
I,
thinking maybe it's
Yeah,
time to
I
go,
put that in the comments there. There's our tools and resources. We have a QuickBooks chooser to help people decide on based on their business workflows, what's the right
not
version of QuickBooks.
not based on an email with red exclamation points.
Yeah.
Because to
Critical
be
notice.
transparent, Dan's trying to drag me into QBO, and every time I've dipped my toes in the water, it does not have the features that I need. So I'm going kicking and screaming every 2 months. I'm still in enterprise, happy in enterprise, but not
Until you try to get something to talk to your enterprise, because that's where we're bumping into problems, is that the integrated applications that you have to use outside of enterprise uh,
yeah.
may or may not talk to QuickBooks. So then you end up with this Frankenstein's monster of potential integrated connections, uh, Transaction Pro Importer, or something like that doesn't
And
work as well
and
as well as
QBO is the same way because they designed it to just be a checkbook with a little so it's fun these days, it really is. So we're here suffering along with you. We like
Yep.
to drink our own champagne
All
and
right.
go through the pain.
So
Pain
bottom
and
line is
champagne.
bottom line is QuickBooks 2020 is being discontinued. As far as service discontinuation, you can still open it, you can still use it. Uh, it is not going to clunk, meaning that it will continue to open after that service discontinuation date.
Unless you have a subscription and you're not paying on it.
Right. Now, if you are on the plus model of QuickBooks Desktop, um, you are already entitled to the latest version of QuickBooks. So you don't have to purchase anything new because you're already paying a
Download it.
subscription. You just log into your Intuit account, and lo and behold, you would see the latest version already there. Just download it and upgrade it, move along, and you upgrade, date your file, and then you'll be able to, continue on using the online services that you're already using. Um, we'll see what September brings. 'Cause typically that's when the new versions are released, and any
You might
changes
see
with pricing,
Premiere.
or yeah, we
But
may not be able to find Premiere in September or something like that. So, time will tell. We are not privy to anything that
Intuit does.
may or may not happen. So we're taking these under grains of salt, just as you are. Uh,
But we're
but
trying to
until
speak the language so you understand what's going on.
Yeah. If you have questions, please ask them in the comments, even after it's over. After the workshop is over, we can continue on the conversation. As always, our YouTube
Yeah.
channel, if you want to alerted when we do go live, go ahead and like and subscribe. And what are you pointing at there?
There's a question about converting enterprise and there's a in the resources, a conversion guide, but You want to
Yep.
speak to converting enterprise data because don't those have those targets and high file size and all that stuff?
Yeah. I mean, we have a conversion course at schoolofbookkeeping.com that you can take a look at, and there's some self-guided resources in there. But yes, you can convert enterprise to QBO. Um, of course, the features that are in QuickBooks that Enterprise don't come along for the journey, right? Like if you go from Enterprise to Simple Start, the data will convert, the features will not,
You're
right? So
getting your
if you're
checkbook
using
up there.
exactly, uh, and then there's some size limitations and those types of things and considerations with regards to that. So if you do have a gigabyte size file that has a million and a half targets, um, you're going to need
Okay.
to
Invest some
have
money.
some data
Yeah,
liposuction.
right, and I would do that with, Matt Clark, QB or not QB, and let him trim it down safely without using the tools in QuickBooks because I don't trust those, and then try the conversion, but
You
always
have some trust
uh,
issues with
yeah, always live in the good file and and don't just assume QBO is gonna be your final destination, and the other thing that a lot of the resellers have talked about is when you're doing these projects, if you use advanced, you get a lot more tools as your sandbox to see what it looks like and play around with. You can restore backup and all that stuff. Just invest in it. You get it 50% off to start with. And if you later don't need all those features, then downgrade. But don't start with the crummiest, smallest shoe in the in the store. And then you end up paying full price when you say, wow, I needed those features because you'll find yourself very frustrated. So
right.
spend the
So
money.
at least the first year, and then you can downgrade
You can always
if you
downgrade, but
find that
that
you're not using those services, and it's less of a hit than if you had to upgrade and you lose the discount. Uh, Kathy added a follow up question here. Yes, I meant to say I need to convert to QBO. Yes, you can. You can
you're
certainly
still
convert.
gonna it won't fix that data if your file size is huge. You still need to do a data safe shrink with like QB or
Right.
not QB before you do it.
Yeah.
Make the file healthy and then give it a shot and look in the
Mhm.
sandbox before you say, "Oh, yeah, this is everything I want," and then some. Because 'cause I've gone in, run away from the sandbox and come back to my happy place because I did not see the features that I have to have.
Right. Yes, there's definitely some cheese moving and when you move to QuickBooks Online, like where did that go? What's over here? Okay, my report doesn't fit width-wise is the way I wanted to. Now it's going to be vertical or something like that. So the learning curve is
Should be
definitely
scared. But don't do it live. You wanna do a sample before you make the plunge. That's you know, clean up, make the file healthy, your live file healthy, and then do a sandbox into
Mhm.
advanced. And that's
Yeah. There's
my
definitely some best practices in our course as well, self-guided, and we can certainly assist with those conversions if you want to be like, no, not for me. Uh, but next week, we're actually going to have Mark Corum joining us. And who's Mark Corum, you ask? He and Hector Garcia.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're like, what is that? Who is that? And why is he here?
What have you and I remember now. It's oh, yeah.
He and Mark and Hector actually teamed up and created a QuickBooks Online extension inside of Chrome that helps with navigating, these changes. Well, one is navigating inside of QuickBooks, but Mark and will come on tomorrow or next week, excuse me, next Wednesday to talk about the free version that's available. And then Mark and Hector will be joining us the week after that to talk about the paid version, and how they've kind of teamed up together to make QuickBooks Online a little less bonkers, as Hector describes it. He always has his list of bonkers, what drives him bonkers. Uh, long live desktop. But anyway,
Well,
thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Bob has a good point because when you use a hosting environment, it's as close as you can get to being able to collaborate with people around the world. So there are ways to make desktop live forever. So
Right. You can put it on some life support to continue to get the most out of, best of both worlds of the online anywhere access and the desktop features and functionality. Perfect. Thanks again for joining us in the lively discussion in our in our chats and comments. We appreciate you joining us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on the workshop. Have a great day.
have a great week. Thanks for joining.